The tale begins with an old man standing with his dragon, recalling how to summon a fire spell, frowning as the memory slips away. He turns toward his house, wondering if the day has finally come to prepare himself for his own death. Opening an aged box, he begins arranging his weapons. He takes inventory of how many he has gathered over the years. His gaze falls on a peculiar object, the evil king dragon's head, which occasionally stirs to life and exhales fire. He notices cursed swords and demonic blades, their dark magic intertwined. There are even forbidden grimoires he has never dared open, aware that those who do are doomed. A familiar thrill rises within him as he surveys the deadly collection. It is a fascination he has carried since childhood. He once shared it with the Demon King amidst battle. Among his companions, he could never speak of this hobby. All praise the hero's swords as the finest. Glancing at one now, he feels no connection. Outside his home, two unknown devils whisper about their plan to deal with the hero. One of them remarks that humans are fragile creatures, quick to age, even heroes. He scoffs, leaving the matter of the dragon to the other, whom he calls Wilhelm. Sitting alone, the old hero studies his cursed items. He knows he must either destroy them in a designated place or save them for formidable foes. His eyes return to the dragon's head, mindful of the peril each item presents if mishandled. Suddenly, a sharp noise shatters the quiet. The wall bursts open. A figure steps through the dust and asks if he is the hero Aslan. The old man responds calmly that he is. The figure smirks and steps closer, introducing himself as Vilmente, the Skeleton King. He mocks the old man for defeating the Demon King's army while cursing him for ruining his own life, claiming he was meant to live in comfort as the army's chronicler. Lifting his sword, Vilmente vows revenge. He intends to take the old man's head, display it, and erase every trace of humanity. Before he can strike, the old man's fist crashes into his face, sending him flying backward. Screaming, Vilmente calls for Wilhelm, but before help arrives, the dragon seizes him. It crushes his head between its teeth and hurls him back to the ground, leaving him broken. Vilmente glares at the old man in disbelief. "Impossible!" he shouts. Aslan steps forward, studying the half-skeletal face. He recalls how this creature vowed to wipe out humanity, and resolves he cannot leave such evil unchecked. Vilmente boasts that as an undead king, he can rebuild himself endlessly, always returning to his original form. He taunts the old man, claiming his frail, aging body cannot endure eternal revival. Aslan suddenly laughs, admitting that he's long wanted to be rid of his cursed swords and demonic blades. He plans to use them until they wear down, then cast them aside. Within moments, 10 hours later, the Skeleton King is on his knees, pierced and covered by countless blades. The old man examines his sword and finds it unscathed, feeling no desire to discard it. He asks if the Demon King truly sent the Skeleton King to hunt him. The creature smirks. Vilmente claims the Demon King holds no value among demons anymore. Once feared, he is now a coward who admires human ways and avoids battle even when provoked. Aslan pauses, wondering if the Demon King has truly changed. The Skeleton King laughs bitterly. Perhaps it is the hero's fault. After being defeated but not slain, the Demon King's will to fight weakened. The old man smiles faintly, admitting he never thought so far ahead. He recalls when he once journeyed with allies, loved by many, yet burdened by deep loneliness. He asks where the Demon King is now. The Skeleton King admits he does not know. He guesses that the king who loves humans might be hiding among them. As his body begins to fade, the Skeleton King sighs in relief, saying he can finally die, impaled by so many cursed blades. Aslan gazes toward the sky, hoping to meet the Demon King once more before his own end. Knowing he cannot dispose of the weapons here, he returns home and searches through his belongings. Inside a small box, he finds an old notebook prepared for his final days. He gazes at the cursed weapons sealed within a magical container. Avoiding the dragon's weary eyes, he gathers his supplies, fully aware this will be his final journey. As he fastens the pack to the dragon's back, he realizes the creature can no longer fly, though it defeated an undead. Aslan remarks that he can still fight, though the pain in his back has become unbearable. With a slow nod, he opens his book in quiet resolve. He is ready to begin his journey of Shukatsu. The town of Beginning sits nestled deep within the mountains. It is a rare haven from monster attacks due to its distance from the Demon King's castle. Aslan decides to visit the town, driven by nostalgia and curiosity about the Demon King, and by a desire to reconnect with young adventurers. As he walks, he notices a familiar building in the distance. He approaches it, only to realize with a start that it is his own house. Flustered, he quickly changes direction, reminding himself that he needs to head straight from home and cross the mountains to reach the town. However, his thoughts grow muddled, and he becomes uneasy as he struggles to recall the path, a clear sign of age catching up to him. Just then, a shout echoes nearby, and the old man's confusion deepens. A young woman struggles against a monster heading toward the town. The creature's gaze falls on her, and it demands to know if she has seen the hero. When she remains silent, the monster grabs her and repeats its question, claiming the hero might be hiding in the area. The young woman insists that the hero would not be in such a remote location. The monster remains skeptical, its eyes lingering on her with a lecherous glint. Drool slips from its mouth, and the young woman cries out for help. The old man steps forward, his fist flying into the monster's face with precision. The blow knocks out blood and leaves the creature stunned. The girl stares in disbelief, amazed that the monster's defeated so effortlessly and with bare hands. She assumes it must be magic, unable to imagine any other explanation. The old man comments that a monster of such a high level is rare in this region. The young woman falls silent, momentarily speechless, then quickly regains her composure. She insists she never asked to be saved and tells the old man not to act like her benefactor, though she still mutters a quick thanks out of courtesy. Aslan grows irritated by the girl's attitude, but casually notes that such behavior is called tsundere. The old man is taken aback. He's heard of the tsundere craze sweeping through the royal capital, but never thought he would encounter one in person before his death. He pulls out his notebook, noting to record this in his end-of-life reflections about meeting people of all kinds, since he believes every encounter has meaning. Then he warns the young woman that it is dangerous for a girl to wander the forest alone. The boy scoffs at the remark, clarifying that the old man is mistaken. He explains that he is not a young lady, but Tori, a man, and that he is training to become an adventurer. So facing danger like this is nothing new to him. The old man's head practically steams with shock. Tori stares at him in disbelief and sighs, thinking the old man is out of his mind. He then wonders if his being male is really that shocking. Suddenly, Tori flinches when he senses someone approaching. He steps back and panics at the sight of a monster. The creature seizes him in its hand, making him cry out and question why he is still alive. The monster opens its mouth, blood dripping, and pulls out an eye-like object. Tori's curiosity vanishes as he mutters that without it, he cannot revive. He grits his teeth in anger, realizing he has no way to survive while the old man remains frozen and useless. The monster sees a perfect opportunity to take him hostage. It cracks its joints and says it would be smarter to break every bone in the boy's body so he cannot run. Before it can continue, a figure in front of him splits into two halves, leaving Tori confused. In that instant, fate flips. It is not the boy being cut apart, but the monster's single eye that is severed. The creature realizes too late that it is the one cleaved, not Tori. A new person appears, her presence so intense that it snaps the old man out of his daze. Tori looks at her and demands to know who she is. She ignores him, fixing her gaze only on the old man, and says she has finally found her lifelong enemy. She clears her way, turning the monster beside her into ash. Then she fixes a fierce glare on the old man, demanding that he stop pretending he doesn't recognize her or the days when they fought side by side. Tori watches the tension rise and yells at the old man, saying it is obvious the new attacker is after him. Yet he grows more confused when the old man's face shows no sign of recognition. The woman insists they share a bond stronger than any glue, claiming they were rivals in the same guild and dueled constantly in the past. The old man feigns excitement, acting as if memories are returning. His poor performance makes the woman smirk before she adds that after their clashes they acknowledged each other's strength and became close comrades. He goes along with it, agreeing that she is right and noting that it has truly been ages since they crossed paths. Suddenly she snaps, shouting that every word she said was a lie and he still remembers nothing. She glares harder, declaring they were warriors who battled for years. If words cannot bring his memories back, she will force them out. She draws her spear and charges, using a shrinking earth technique to close the distance instantly, aiming directly for his eyes. Tori screams in horror, realizing she targeted the old man's face with an attack too fast to track. Even the rock behind him explodes into fragments. He begs the old man not to die, terrified by the impact. The woman pauses, admitting she is honestly disappointed because the legendary hero of his prime would never flinch at something so small. In the end, no one escapes the weight of aging. She claims he should feel honored that she is the one ending him, but the situation reverses completely when the spear stops between the old man's teeth. The woman staggers back in shock. The old man casually remarks that the texture reminds him of jerky, and he could get addicted. She throws a fit, shouting in outrage and demanding to know how he blocked her spear like it was a dried snack. He tells her to release it, but his jaw suddenly pops out and drops to the ground. He calmly picks it up and fits it back into his mouth, while she collapses in disbelief, unable to comprehend that her mighty strike was defeated by nothing more than dentures and stubborn luck. Tori dashes toward the old man, anxiously asking if he is all right. He suddenly turns to the woman and says he finally remembers who she is, calling her Julius. Tori pauses, recognizing the name, faintly as if he had heard it somewhere before. The heroine narrows her eyes, declaring that at last he recalls Julius. She introduces herself as one of the former Demon King's army, one of the 6 demon generals, known as Julius of the Severed Flow. Tori nearly collapses in fear, realizing that legends say these generals once wiped out entire nations overnight, and no wonder her name echoes through history. Julius looks sharply at the old man, reminding him that if he knows her identity, he must also understand why she has come. And she calls him hero. Tori's panic spikes as he locks eyes with the old man, finally realizing the truth. This elder is the hero himself. His blood runs cold as he imagines the devastation that would erupt if a Demon King's general and the hero clashed while he stood between them. His thoughts spiral until he sees Julius holding a mug of beer, telling the hero that he once promised to share a drink when the wall between demons and humans fell, and she expects him to keep that promise tonight. The hero recalls their first duel in this forest, which irritates Julius as she demands whether he forgot everything else. He smiles faintly, reminding her that they were both inexperienced and stubborn, and she nods, remembering that he was a green adventurer while she was injured by a lowly monster. Later, they survived by relying on one another when hunted by a high-ranking demon. And the memory brings a strange warmth. Tori sits nearby, still trying to figure out how to survive, and notes that despite expecting a deadly battle, they are surprisingly cordial. He thinks even enemies can form bonds in combat, so perhaps he does not need to panic. The old man comments that after she joined the Demon King's army, she continued to grow stronger, and Tori is stunned to learn she became one of the 6 demon generals. Julius states that if anyone deserves praise, it is him, for he became strong enough to defeat the Demon King. Then, with a sudden smile, Julius draws her weapon and points it at him, daring him to unsheath his sword. The change terrifies Tori, who rushes forward, begging them to stop and arguing that they were just drinking calmly. Why fight again? Julius ignores him and tells the hero that he was remarkable, reaching the pinnacle as the one who defeated the Demon King. She growls that none of that matters to her. Her voice trembles with anger as she says he caused her to lose the master she swore to protect, failed her duty, and could not even die in battle. Instead, she has lived full of regret, and it is all his fault. For someone like her, the only path to salvation is to face an honorable end as a warrior and settle things with the hero. The old man stares in shock. Without warning, she swings her spear, slicing his cheek. Tori freezes, awed by her speed, realizing she held back. Julius remarks that she is glad they shared a drink first, so she can now end him without regret. Aslan draws his sword, recognizing her intent, and asks if she is ready for her own end. Julius replies that they can settle this here and now. The old man is blown backward with a single strike. Tori surveys the chaos and freezes, whispering that he will die if he stays. The old man and Julius face each other again, and she swings her spear like a fan, catching him off guard. She slams it into the ground, splitting the earth into jagged chunks. He dodges her strikes, and she warns that she has far more power to give. Tori's fear spikes as a violent wind rushes toward him, and he shields his face, certain it is over, but when he opens his eyes, the dragon stands in front of him with its arms spread. He stares at the creature and asks if it actually protected him. Julius studies the dragon, recognizing it as an elder-class beast that shrugged off her attack with ease, and she is stunned that such a creature would follow anyone but someone it respects. The thought rattles her as she wonders who the guy truly is. She turns to the hero and asks if it is time to stop holding back. He casually asks what she means, and she points at him, telling him not to act ignorant because she knows he has not drawn the hero sword. He apologizes and admits he avoids using it because he dislikes its appearance. Julius glares, confused that he would ignore a legendary weapon over such a trivial reason, and she immediately lunges with a flurry of strikes, yelling at him to stop wasting her time. The hero scrambles as she shouts that if he refuses to draw the sword for a foolish reason, she will force him until there is no escape. As she charges again, Tori panics and runs to help, but before he can reach them, her blow lands, sending the hero crashing into the ground. He looks up and recognizes the move as the shrinking earth spear, realizing he has seconds to live. He grabs his sword to block, but the blade snaps in half and he stares in disbelief. Julius demands to know if he still refuses to use the hero's sword, and he hesitates before she suddenly hurls an attack towards his face. She stands over him, declaring she will press him until every excuse disappears. She attacks repeatedly, and Tori shouts at him, asking why he will not fight. Julius slows as something feels off, and even with the advantage, a strange dread settles over her, as if she has been striking a mountain. Then she sees a massive stone-like figure in front of her and screams that it cannot be real. The old man steps forward unscathed, noting that it has been a long time since he felt blows that strong, and thanks to them his body finally feels loose. Tori and the dragon stare in shock. Aslan grins at Julius, saying that now the stiffness is gone, he can stop holding back. Julius shakes, but Tori notices blood on the old man and points it out. He glances at the cut and says it is only a scratch. He tells Julius that she had always insisted he use the hero's sword. Though the weapon is not to his liking, he draws it out of respect for her strength. She watches as he unsheathes the blade and takes his stance, smoke curling around her as she channels her magic into the spear. Power surges through the weapon until it hums from tip to tip, and even Tori can feel the pressure. Its force nearly matches that of the hero's sword itself. Julius remembers their first duel when they had fought as equals. Each battle after that only widened the gap between them. He had always told her to stop, refusing to strike down an opponent who could no longer fight, and that mercy had wounded her pride more deeply than any blade. Now, consumed by that memory, she charges forward, determined to reclaim what was lost. Before her strike can land, her arm is severed. It falls to the ground. The old man smiles, grateful that even with a body long past its prime, he has found a strength he thought forever gone, a strength awakened by her. Julius refuses to yield. She shifts her grip, attacking again with her remaining arm, but in an instant that one too is cut away. Pain and fury drive her onward. She catches the spear between her teeth, forcing her body to move, to fight, to prove she can still surpass him. He meets her final thrust with a calm precision, knocking the weapon aside. As she stumbles forward, he drives the hero sword through her and out the other side. She collapses in silence, and he lowers her gently, acknowledging the honor in her struggle and the worth of the battle they shared. Tori stands frozen as the battle ends, stunned by everything he has witnessed. It is the first time he sees a fight so terrifying, yet his eyes suddenly brighten, and he yells at the old man, demanding to know if it was really necessary to kill Julius. He looks miserable, reminding the hero that even though she belonged to the Demon King's army, they had been casually drinking together not long ago. The hero calmly replies that Tori is mistaken, and assures him she is still alive. Tori shouts in confusion, asking where she is, and the old man hums thoughtfully, admitting it is a good question. Tori yells in disbelief, asking what he is doing. The old man brings forth a slime and tells Tori that this is where she survives. The slime suddenly speaks, exclaiming that she cannot believe she has reverted to this state and admitting she was completely defeated. Tori's jaw drops as he shouts at the old man, demanding to know what it really is. The old man blinks and replies that it is obviously Julius. Tori is even more shocked, questioning how that can be true when her body lies there, dissolving into sludge. He panics, saying it has become unbearable to watch and demands to know what she really is. The old man toys with the slime, while she asks if he still has not figured it out and reveals she is a slime. Tori stares, baffled, recalling the stories told to him, and asks if their first forest battle had been like this, that the hero had fought a slime. The hero nods and explains that back then she was a low-tier slime with almost no growth potential, usually used as a sparring target for beginner adventurers. Tori realizes she became a rare specimen who evolved into human form, noting such a change is extremely uncommon. For someone like her to rise to a demon army leader, he wonders how much training she endured. If the hero who defeated the Demon King and a former slime who climbed to command can reach such heights, perhaps traveling with them would help him grow as an adventurer too. Bursting with excitement, he begs to join, but before anyone can respond, a bizarre creature appears in the sky, declaring he seems to have arrived too late. It has feathers and a chicken-like head. Tori screams at the sight of a flying chicken, angering the creature, which snaps at him for rudeness and insists it is a phoenix. It lands, performs an awkward dance, then apologizes, claiming it just sneezed. Tori yells that it only made chicken noises. He turns to the hero and Julius, assuming the newcomer might know one of them, and calls out. The old man narrows his eyes, muttering that this could turn ugly, and Julius admits she is stunned to see him. The chicken-headed being bows and introduces himself as one of the former Demon King's army, one of the 6 demon generals, cockatrice of the Phoenix. Tori freaks out, realizing he holds the same rank Julius once had. The Phoenix says he came to claim the hero's life, but judging by the old man's exhausted state, it seems unnecessary. The slime glances at Tori, saying it was flattering that he thought they were equals, but the opponent before them is on an entirely higher level. Tori panics further upon realizing the Phoenix outranks Julius, but reassures himself that when Julius fought the old man, she only managed to scrape his skin. So even if this bird is stronger, the hero should still handle it. He smirks, confident, but the old man chuckles, saying he cannot fight now. He intentionally loosened his muscles and took a direct hit, leaving his entire body aching. Tori feels the situation worsen as the Phoenix summons an ancient soul. Julius forces herself out of her slime form, admitting that since the hero cannot act, she must maintain a fragile battle form. Tori shouts in disbelief, asking if they really intend to fight and whether it is allowed, but she widens her eyes, explaining that past restrictions no longer apply. She is openly hostile toward the bird now and holds no loyalty to the Demon King, merely because he once valued a low-level slime. She will never forget that kindness. Still confused, she demands to know why the Phoenix targets the hero, who lacks a warrior spirit. The Phoenix answers that she fails to see the larger purpose. Ever since the Demon King's fall, demon society lacks a dominant force, and restoring order requires a powerful ruler. Julius quickly understands his intent, saying that as proof of that strength, the hero's head is the ideal prize. The Phoenix praises her awareness, but before anyone reacts, Tori ends up wrapped in the dragon's coils. He realizes at this rate no one will survive. He sighs, thinking how he somehow became an adventurer and ended up in chaos, wondering what someone like him can do. Then his eyes snap open as he realizes his weakness is only an excuse to remain still. He tears free from the dragon's hold and charges at the Phoenix. Julius shouts in alarm, cursing him, but he grits his teeth, yelling that even a brief chance is worth taking. The old man calls out for him to stop, but Tori reaches the Phoenix and is impaled instantly. Blood fills his mouth as his eyes widen. The Phoenix glares down, muttering that Tori dared to call him a chicken twice. He claims no desire to torment the weak, but draws his sword, saying he cannot ignore any insult. He hurls Tori aside and declares that with the rude insect gone, the hero is next. To his shock, Tori reincarnates midair as a strange winged creature. Everyone stares, even the hero. The Phoenix recoils, demanding to know if Tori is a demon mocking him. But before striking, Tori releases ancient magic, flames of raging fury, and commands the Phoenix to burn in hellfire. When the smoke clears, the Phoenix returns to his original form, panicking as parts of him vanish. Even with all his ancient mastery, he cannot comprehend this unknown magic, and his body disintegrates into ash. After a moment, Tori regains consciousness, rubbing his eyes, feeling as though a piece of memory is missing. He looks around in confusion, then bows deeply, apologizing to everyone for acting recklessly, being easily defeated and burdening them. He notices his stomach is uninjured and wonders if recovery magic was used, apologizing again and calling himself dead weight. The old man studies him, asking if he wants to become his disciple. Tori stares, stunned, assuming the old man will retract the offer if he refuses, and stammers that he is too inexperienced and will only slow them down. The old man explains everyone starts at that stage and saw a bright spark in Tori's actions, which is why he wants him as a pupil. Tears stream down Tori's face as he begs the old man to take care of him, hugging the dragon in relief. Julius glances at the hero, saying she knows he accepted Tori to manage his power, but the hero insists he saw a strong light in the boy's spirit. He asks if she plans to accompany them. She snaps that he is shameless but admits his strength leaves her no choice. The old man climbs onto his drowsy dragon, stretches across its back, and tells Julius to wake him upon reaching the city. They soar into the sky, and Tori looks at Julius, asking what happened to the Phoenix. She says it died once but will likely return, as is the nature of a phoenix. Tori is stunned to learn it was truly a phoenix, though he still cannot fathom why it had such a ridiculous head. The old man quietly records the entire event in his journal.
Here I am, know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand, I know I walked away.